There's a time in my life when I lived in the streets. I was a street boy when I was around 11 years old. Life, I was so lost. I didn't know what to do. I had esteem issues. I didn't know that people like us will get the chance to be butlers. She told me to go and watch a movie, and the movie was The Butler. I think I watched the movie 3 times at once. At a go, I finished and then rewatched it again. I finished and then rewatched it again. I was like, wow, okay, so this can be a career. I just decided to write to the academy, and it is the best decision I think I made at that time. Your past doesn't define your future. We can rise and find our purpose and find what we are meant to do.
Basically, as soon as I saw the description of your story in butlering, it just straight away, it's exactly what I love about butlering. We come from such diverse backgrounds. There's always a great backstory as to how the person became a butler, and yours particularly interested me. I thought it was so good. So if you don't mind, the first thing I'd love to do is for you to tell me in your own words your story. How did you get here?
Well, thank you. That's a very good introduction. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Should I call you Mr. Rosette or
No,
Mr.
please call me
Simon?
Simeon. Please call me Simeon.
Simeon. Okay. Thank you, Simeon, for having me.
Oh, it's a
Um,
pleasure.
I First of all, I didn't know that something I can write on LinkedIn will bring so much impact and to reach someone like you. So it's really, really an honor uh, to be here as well. And my story is a bit interesting to me. So I'll just try and share it the way it is. I'll try and be authentic as possible.
Please.
So I didn't just become, I just didn't want to be a butler. I didn't know if it's a profession. I didn't know if such a profession exists. And I didn't know that someone would just grow up and want to become a butler. So in short, I'm trying to say it's not something that I planned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a path that found me when I was in the midst of pursuing my purpose. There's a time in life I was so lost. I didn't know what to do with life. I was back in Kenya, in my country. I was working in a restaurant. I used to love service. I used to love serving people, talking to people, interacting with them. It just gave me a certain level of joy. And there was this day I will never forget this day. A lady, she'd come with her family. She was a German lady. She came with her family for vacation in Kenya, and she was on a wheelchair. And I have this extra compassion or care for people, uh, just for people, elderly people, people who are vulnerable in a way, and just people with who are able to differently. And the moment I saw her when she arrived, I think they checked in at around 3. I went and talked to her. I welcomed her. I even helped push her around the buffet area and served her welcoming drinks and all that. And for the 1 week that she stayed with us in the hotel, she always wanted me to serve her. So I would go home, maybe my shift has finished, and then my manager would call me, "Hey, Liru, what did you do to this lady? Why is she asking for you all the time? Even her family, her children were there, the husband was there. They're just, where's Liru? Where's Liru? Where's Liru? So to cut this story short, this family loved me very much. And I remember there's a time the rest of the rest of the family were going for vacation, were going for a safari. Kenya is known for safaris, for bush safaris. So the family was going for the safari, and the lady was left alone. uh, she requested for me to go and be with her that day because she couldn't go to the swimming pool.
Mhm.
She couldn't do anything by the buffet at the buffet by herself. So she called the management and told the management that I should uh, just be the one to look after her. That's it. And I remember having this conversation about purpose and all that. So she asked me, Liru, what next after this kind of, So I honestly didn't know what I wanted to be. I thought I was just doomed on being a restaurant server. Not that it's a bad career, but in my country, in Kenya, it's a very, very underpaying job,
Mm.
and you can't really make a living out of such a job.
Yeah, understood.
So yeah, so she talked to me and talked to me. We shared a couple of stories here and there. I told her a bit of my story, so what I had back then, and she told me, I love I love your attitude. I love how you take care of me. I see how you talk to the other guests, and that is really, really good. Keep it up. Keep it up, Liru. So I never saw myself in from another perspective, from any other perspective. But the moment she told me that, and I remembered many guests had written comments
Hmm.
when they leave after they've checked out. I could see my name on the billboard, Joshua, Masinde, Liru. So that all of that kept on coming back. And there's one thing she told me when they were checking out a week later. She told me to go and watch a movie,
Hmm.
and the movie was The Butler.
Ah, great movie.
Yeah, a very, very great movie. I didn't know anything about that world, but when I watched the movie, I don't know, somehow. I think I watched the movie three times at once. At a go. I finished and then rewatched it again. I finished and then rewatched it again. I was like, wow, okay. So this can be a career. And actually it aligned very well with with who I am as a person and what I want to achieve in life. And well, the rest is history. Here I am.
That's beautiful because I mean the thing I find interesting is even though we're from totally different continents and not quite opposite sides of the world but certainly a long way apart. um I can feel everything you're and I can and I think not just myself but most butlers are going to
Yeah.
sort of appreciate that feeling of the day that you thought to yourself, no, I would like to be a butler, and I would that suddenly comes to you as an idea. um so what did you do next? What was the next thing you did after that?
The next thing I did was, so this is back in 2017. 2017 is when 2017 is a year in my life when I must say that I started viewing myself differently. Before all this, there's another huge story. Right now I'm trying to come out and just speak about that bits by bits. Even in my LinkedIn series, and also I'm working on something for myself.
Hmm.
But 2017 was a transformational year for me. Um, it opened, it made me think about what I want to be in life. And from such people telling me good things about myself that I didn't know. I come from low self-esteem. I had esteem issues. It really affected my studies. I didn't know I just couldn't understand school, you know. Uh Also, there's a time in my life when I lived in the streets, you know. I was a street boy when I was around 11 years old. So I if you see these events in my life and me now trying to figure out life, what do I want to do? Where next? how can I get out of this? It's frenzy or something. Um, so anyway, 2017, the lady told me that. I went and watched this movie, and the first thing I did was, of course, Google. I Googled, and surprisingly, the first post I saw, the first uh, video I saw on Google, because Google also recommends YouTube videos, was you.
No,
So for real.
I can't believe that. I'm genuinely shocked. Can't believe that.
Yes, 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 yes. I think you are starting or something back then, and the moment I Googled, that is what came. I think I saw something with butlers. I was okay. I watched a couple of videos you had, and then after watching the movie, so after no after watching the movie, I Googled, and then I watched you, and then there was the International Butler Academy.
Hmm.
I also saw there's one in South Africa. It's called South African Butler Academy, if I'm not
Uh-huh.
wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, so I watched you and I watched the International Butler Academy. I didn't know how to reach you, unfortunately, but I, s- I think I resonated with Tiba. I resonated with Tiba, and there were a couple of extra videos on how they do their training. And so the next thing I did was reach out to them. I reached out to them, but it took me quite some time
Mm.
because I reached out to them in 2021. I read their website. I saw the fees were very, very expensive. There
Mm.
was no way I was going to be able to achieve to get such amount of money to pay for my
Yeah.
school fees. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a good job. I was only surviving hand to mouth. Uh, so it took me like 5 extra years to just try and raise the money. And COVID came in 2020. Then
Yeah.
yeah, a lot happened. So anyway, I reached out to Tiba in 2021. It was very funny actually, if I remember. I asked them, low self-esteem is a very bad thing. I asked them, um, do you take people from this part of the world?
Really? You were thinking that they wouldn't?
Yes, yes. I I was operating from a very, very low self-image.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know that I people like us will get the chance to be butlers, and be and serve the, the the people who've made it in life. So after some time, I was going through my email and I saw that I almost cried. I almost cried. Anyway. So Tiba responded very well. They
Good.
wrote me a very, very, very long email. It included everything I needed to know about the course, the academy, uh, the founder, Mr. Wenekes, the trainers, students from all over the world, testimonials. So the fact that they responded to me was really, really humbling. And I said, oh, wow, so they do accept people from this world. So I'm not different. I can go and become a
Ah,
butler. Wow. So that was awakening for me in so many ways. So I got really lucky in 2019. 2019, I got really lucky. There was the president of Kenya back then. I was trying to to open up the economy, and so there was this blue belt economy. So there was were allowing cruise ships to come and
Yep.
get workers from Kenya, staff from Kenya, and then in return they will get a part in the port and all that to just boost the tourism industry.
Hmm.
I applied for a position and I got a position. I applied as a waiter, but there's something extra with me that I don't understand at all. Uh, I've never understood this. This just an aura I carry, and right now I can say that without feeling bad about it,
Uh-huh.
but without feeling proud. I'm not just trying to be proud. There's an aura I carry with me that has helped me to reach to where I am right now. So I went and I applied as a waiter because that was my level of that was my limit as
Yeah.
a waiter.
That's what you'd
Yeah.
already been doing, so you thought you wouldn't be able to go
Yeah.
beyond. Mm.
Yes, exactly. So I applied, and then they saw me, the way I talked to them, the way I answered questions in the interview, my little confidence. They told me, Joshua, we're not going to give you a waiter position. We think you deserve something better. So they sent me to the bar.
Ah.
But they gave me a bartender's position. So when you work as a bartender in a cruise ship,
Mm.
you are in charge of a certain bar. You're in charge of assistant bartenders, waiters, waitresses, bar boys, bar backs. So you have to make sure that stocks are done. So that is the job I was given. I
Yeah.
didn't have prior experience in working in the bar, you know,
Yeah.
but they gave me that position. It was quite challenging, but all went well. I did what I did. So I used this because in the cruise ship, I could make extra money.
Yeah.
So I worked in the cruise ship for one contract, and then COVID came, and then we had to stay at home. And then in 2021, I went back again.
Uh-huh.
So by the time I was joining the International Butler Academy, I had some good amount of money,
Good.
and I
Yeah.
got some extra help from people and paid for my school fees.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is what I love, because you've like you found your calling, you found what you want to do, and then you've
Yeah.
really made it happen. You've worked hard and you've made it happen. Uh,
Hmm.
so what was it like when you I they're a brilliant school, so you chose well, going to them because they're a great Butler school. Uh,
Hmm. Thank you.
and but what was it like training there? How did you find it?
Well, training in the International Butler Academy. It was really tough.
Hmm.
I will not lie to anyone out there who wants to come and try. It's not it's not something you just wake up and want to do. A butler, I mean, battling is not just a step for you to go to be to go close to richness,
Hmm.
to go close to wealthy people. No, that is what I found there. That is what I found in the International Butler Academy. The training was rigorous,
Hmm.
both physically, mentally, and also emotionally.
Mm.
And for someone like me, as I told you, I came from low self-esteem, low self-image, low self-perception.
Yeah.
And here I'm meeting people from all over the world, and we are serving in the highest possible uh, uh, level of excellence,
Yeah.
S- and we had like 15 students during my time. and we're supposed to perform in, we're supposed to showcase excellence. First, it was really hard for me to fit in. I felt like I didn't belong here. I felt like I didn't belong here. Um,
So what made you feel that way?
what made me feel that way? Just my background, where I came from, and my esteem issues.
Mm.
That is it. Not I didn't find the course to be any it wasn't that tough. It wasn't like that tough, but it was tough for some people. For
Mm.
me, what was really challenging was just to be able to get myself accustomed to this new environment, you know,
Yeah.
an environment of excellence, professional excellence. I met people who are wealthy, people who are rich. We had events, dealt with people who've made it all in life, you know. Yeah, so that is what was challenging for me. But the course, I loved, I
Mm.
loved, I loved being in class. I loved service. It was easy for me. I loved talking to people. And and it's not just about talking to people, you know, it's not just about talking and talking. There's a level of professionalism that comes with it,
Yeah.
and the a demeanor that comes with it that just allows you to 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 sorry, I'm kind of losing my words here.
No, that's okay. I mean, to be fair, you're being very eloquent.
Mm,
So you know, you're. Um, I know exactly what you mean. To be honest, even
mhm,
without you
mhm,
saying the specific words, I know exactly what you mean. So
mhm.
you felt that it built your confidence, and so being around these people let you understand just how far you could go. Is that what you're saying, or?
Ah, yes, 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 yes. That is exactly what I'm saying. The International Butler Academy challenged me in a very positive way. I was able to view the world from a different point of view.
Mhm.
I went there when I had esteem issues. I went there when I felt I don't deserve to be here. But then the trainers, the fellow students, the course itself, it just makes you want to become better,
Perfect.
you know. And we had trainers who came to just teach us how to be calm, relaxed, so that you can be able to perform at your highest uh, level of excellence, you know.
Mhm.
So we had such classes where it's not just about working, it's not just about doing this, it's a, it's about yourself, focusing on yourself so that whatever you will release later, uh, uh, yeah, whatever you release later.
So you sort of gained a higher level of understanding, yeah, a higher level of understanding yourself as well as service, yeah, like because I mean, I'm looking at you and I see
Mhm.
someone who's confident and eloquent and very in control. So like I obviously I hadn't seen you before, but the idea
Yeah.
that you were once like shy with low self-esteem, so this is like a butterfly from a chrysalis. This is amazing.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
So what would you say? So you obviously learned a huge amount of skills at
Oh,
Butler.
yes. Yes, I
So
did.
what were the sort of top skills that you learned, and what sort of qualities are most important do you feel for a butler?
Okay. That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. And I can say this not only from my experience in Tiba, but also what I've been able to gain and get from here, from my first job as a butler here in Canada. A successful butler it's a blend of technical skills. So like household management, etiquette, soft skills such as emotional intelligence, and there's discretion, um, and there's adaptability. So these are the things that so far I think every butler should have. You just have apart from what you've gained from a school, or what you've gained from an academy, you must have these other extra qualities that will make you perform well in a working environment. Apart from these technical skills, a butler must have the heart of service. And for me, this is big because I had this heart of service even before I knew I wanted to become a butler. And that is one thing that I think will make me succeed in this industry. I haven't made it yet in in this industry. I'm still a newbie. I'm still beginning. But from what I've seen, from what I've read, a heart of service takes people very far, and also humility. Um, you must you must be humble. Any butler must be humble. Humility for me is not. Uh, you see, I'll just give you an example. When we were in school, when we were training in school, uh, we had people from different professions, people from different backgrounds, and they came to school and they didn't want to be taught. They came with their own way of thinking, their own way of doing things. But you want to succeed in this industry and you're not humble enough to learn. You see, when you're humble, you put yourself in a position uh, where someone is able to teach you. Someone is able to make you understand one or two, three things in the industry. And I I'm not boasting, but I think I've been able to put myself down so that I can be able to learn. Like working in this household, I came here knowing nothing. There were people there were people before me, but for me to be able to serve my principles better, I had to be humble for the housekeepers, because I found the housekeepers, I found the chef, I found the other people. Before me knowing how to run this house, I had to humble myself down so that they can teach me what they know. And for them to trust me, for them to be on the same level with me, and for them to understand what I'm bringing in and my value to this house, you know. So humility for me is a big thing.
You've hit the nail on the head. Like what you just said is, I'm completely in agreement, and I can't imagine anyone disagreeing, because being humble, and anyone who is not, as you describe, anyone who's not humble enough to learn is never going to become wise, because you only get wisdom through that humility and that want to learn from other people. um, as you say, you're not a famous butler yet, but I'll be honest, if I had to put some money on you being one to watch in the future, I certainly would. um, because I can usually tell, and
Mhm.
I think that anyone watching this will definitely agree with me on that.
Oh,
So
thank you kindly. Thank you very much. That means a lot.
Oh no, I mean it's a pleasure, and I'm very fortunate to be speaking to you. Um,
Thank
so
you.
tell me, just the sort of last thing I want to ask you about. So obviously, I'm not going to ask you anything about your present employers or anything. All of my viewers will know that we're much too professional to ask any questions like that, so I won't.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously, you're now in Canada. Um,
Yeah,
that's a big step. That's a totally different place. So what, obviously I'm not asking you to give anything away, but what made you make the change to come to this completely different country?
it started. It started in the International Butler Academy. After my after my training, I wasn't even sure that I will get a job. I think, yes, there was still some level of low self-perception back then. And I, when I was nearing completion of the training course, I, I was really wondering because, I'd quit my job as a bartender in the cruise ship. I quit my job and joined the academy. And now the training was almost over. A few colleagues of mine uh, they had received calls from different employers, from different recruiters, but I was still there. I was still there and was just wondering, will I ever get a job as a butler? I remember talking to the head butler about this, a very wonderful guy. He's an amazing person. I think he taught me so much in the academy that about private service and about butlering and about just myself that I didn't know.
Mm.
He's called Mr. Shimko. So, Mr. Shimko, wherever you are an amazing human being. You helped me a lot, and I'm very, very grateful. And on that note, also, let me just say, Johnny Vij. We call her Miss Vij. Miss Vij is amazing. She has a level of knowledge in this industry that I I wonder. I mean, she's so knowledgeable, and I think she's overqualified for any position. She's just overqualified because if you talk about this, she has extensive knowledge in that. She has extensive knowledge in this. She's just amazing, and also some very many other people I met in the academy. Back to how I found myself in Canada. So I just finished my study. I didn't want to go back to Kenya because there was no job for me. I wrote to the academy. I left the academy. I went to Spain, I think, for a couple of weeks, and then when I was in Spain, I wrote to the academy requesting for an internship because they had. I remember they someone had mentioned to me that when you finish school, you can apply for internship, and I wasn't of the idea. I didn't know that if I wanted to be an intern or not because of other couple of other issues. But when I was in Spain and I was looking at my life, I just decided to write to the academy. And it is the best decision I think I made at that time. Mr. Wenekes, the founder,
Mhm.
he accepted me back. Um, he believed in me so much. He believed in me so much. And this is a very contrasting narrative from who I was back then. Because as I tell you, I viewed myself differently. But the academy and the tutors, the trainers, even the guests viewed me differently, including Mr. Wenekes. He's he's a tough man. He's hard to please. And I wasn't doing anything to please him or or get favor from him. He's a judge of character. He knows character. He understands character. He sees a person and he's able to know the type of person you are. I was there just being myself, but I was really humbled when by the time the training finished, I was among the top 3 students out of 15.
Wow.
That was really humbling. I never saw that coming, Simeon. I never imagined that something like that could happen. But because there were so many brighter students, people who spoke well, people who spoke better than me, they've had experiences, they were chefs, they were in other roles in the industry. But someone like me was just there, and I was position 3. That was amazing. So I applied for internship. They welcomed me back very well. I felt so good when I came back. So I did my first internship. And then when I was about to leave, I hadn't found a position yet. It's really hard to get a job as a butler.
Mhm.
I saw posts on LinkedIn. I applied, but many recruiters are different. Some tell me, sorry, your passport doesn't allow you to apply for this position. The principal needs someone with a passport, maybe from a European passport or Canadian passport. Because it's a strong passport. These principals need to travel. Maybe they need a traveling butler
Yeah.
and a couple of other things uh, out there. But I just I'm a prayerful person. I believe in God. I kept on praying. So when I finished my first internship, there was no there was no hope for me still. I didn't have a job. And Mr. Wenekes, um, the founder of the International Butler Academy, called me in his office and told me, Joshua, what are your plans? What are you planning to do? I told them honest. I told him and the head butler, Mr. Shimko, I don't have a plan. I don't know what to do. I've tried applying for positions here and there, but looks like I'm not able to get one. And he told me, I want you to stay here for one more internship. Do what you keep on doing. Do what you do best. And I will try my level best to make sure that you get a position. We have a recruitment team. Mr. Wenekes talked to Miss Imambaks. Miss Imambaks is the recruitment director of the International Butler Academy. So I was on the list. I was there waiting for someone to say, "Hey, Joshua, Miss Liru, come. I want to employ you." So it was during my second internship. That is in 2023 now. Around June is when Miss Imambaks came back to me with good news. He told me, Joshua, Liru, I have I have a possible position for you, and I know you will fit in this position. She told me that. I had given up, honestly. Again, I'd given up. I didn't know I'd get a job. And then she comes and tells me that. And things went on so fast because she tells me that she tells me to prepare myself for an interview.
Uh-huh.
And she introduced something that I was the first person to do in the International Butler Academy. She told me to
Hmm.
record myself, and send that video to her so that she can send to the principals, to my current principals now. So I recorded myself just like this. I spoke what I had to speak. A few days later, I was sitting in, I had my first interview,
Brilliant.
and it was the only interview.
Hmm.
And uh, I'd like to say this because I believe in patterns. In one of my LinkedIn posts, I talked about patterns. I believe so much in patterns. People call it coincidence. I don't know, but it just happened this way. So my current principals, they were planning to visit my country in 2020. COVID happened. In 2021, they planned to visit another country, so they didn't visit Kenya. In 2022, they said, let's wait, we'll go next year. So the following year was 2023. They normally go for the vacation, it depends, but last year they had their vacation in August. And as you can see, I I interviewed with them in June. They didn't tell me that they had planned to come to Kenya. So I interviewed with them. They loved me. They accepted me immediately. They were already they're already in talks with the academy to take me in. And then Madame later on emails me and tells me, Joshua, hey, by the way, we didn't want to tell you this, but we'll be in your country for vacation this year. I was really shocked.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really shocked. So I take I sometimes just sit down and reflect and see how my life has been uh, growing from one stage to the other. Things don't just happen for nothing. Everything is connected. I believe that. And I believe that me being here in Canada, in Toronto, started a very long time ago. A very long time ago. I was just preparing myself to be here. Yeah.
That is wonderful. I mean, that's so powerful. And I mean, I have similar beliefs, and I know exactly what you mean. I believe you are correct, and
Mm.
you were destined for this success. You were destined to be where you are right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
and and like you say, God's given you the strength and the commitment to do it for yourself. So that's
That's true.
absolutely wonderful. Um, I find your story incredibly inspiring, and I'm sure anyone listening and watching this will as well. That you've literally from the streets of Kenya to being,
Oh, yes.
a polished professional butler working in Canada. Um, so I salute you. I'm extremely impressed with you and what you've achieved, and I'm sure this will. Well, I certainly hope this will not be the last that I hear of you, because I'm going to be watching your career progress, and
Hmm.
and any time that I can be of any help for you, just please let me know. You don't need my help, but it's always there if you want it. Um, so I'm so grateful that you've come and spoken to me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you as well. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, to be honest.
The
You,
honor's mine. It really is.
thank you. I'd just like to say, uh, I'd just like to say one thing as a closing shot. This is an opportunity that you've given me to, for me, I find this to be very, I'm lacking words, but I'm just grateful for this opportunity to share my story, to speak with you, and to share my story to the world. Um, just thank you, Simeon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like to just say one last thing, that to anyone out there listening to this, Your past doesn't define your future. We all have a story. I'm sure you also have a story, Mr. Simeon.
I do.
And we can rise and find our purpose and find what we are meant to do if we just choose to believe in ourselves. That is the one thing that I didn't do for myself. And the moment I chose to believe in myself and I chose to believe in my capabilities, I was able to be where I am right now. And I'm really grateful.
Those are very inspiring words, and I'm sure they will inspire a lot of people. Thank you so much for. I mean, I've enjoyed this immensely. So, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that everyone else will. So, thank you so much. And like I say, anytime, just reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.